Welcome to Baby Narc. Um, so the very first time that Brian love bombed me, it lasted for about 2 weeks. Yeah, that's how he hooked me. I mean, it was so good, and he said all the right things, and it lasted for so long that that's how he's hooked me for 4 years. And so so one of the there's so many red flags. I don't know which one was first, but one of the red flags that I should have known was so during this 2 weeks, it wasn't the first night, but it was like, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 nights into, this, thing. We had been talking all night, and I told you he delivers pizza, so he works at night, and he had been calling me, texting me, FaceTiming me, all night long while he's at work. And, he has the luxury of being able to do that because, he's not like sitting at a desk in an office, so I'm excited. I didn't know. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, this guy's really into me. And, here's what's weird. If I wouldn't have been into him, I would have been like, dude, this guy's weird. And, I wouldn't have liked it because it was intense. But I did like it. I liked him, and it just was exciting to have this guy like that I'm into just being like over the top. I mean, calling me to all night. So anyway, he usually gets off work, pretty late, like, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, whatever. And so about 2, maybe 3 o'clock in the morning, he is sitting in this car. Now, here's the deal. He's in this car, and I make no judgment because, I don't care what he drives. Really, seriously, I'm not like that. I don't care. But he's in this his car. Now, I'd never seen the outside of it, so I don't know what brand it was, but it's an older model car, four-door sedan, pretty old, like a Chevy or Ford, whatever, kind of beat up. And so he's sitting in this car by himself, and he's like, "Hey, I'm about to pick up my friends." So I'm like, okay. And so all of a sudden, the passenger door opens, and this guy and this girl get into the front seat with him. And she gets in first, and now here's the deal. And I'm not judging. I know all my stuff sounds like I'm so judgmental, but it's only I'm just trying to paint the picture so that you get the idea of, who we're dealing with here. So they get in the car, and, you can tell they're a bunch of junkies. And she seemed really sweet, She seemed like a person, and actually, he's told me all about her. She's actually done a lot for him. Well, who doesn't? I mean, everybody does stuff for Brian. But she just seemed like a girl who's had a really hard life. And you could tell that she still has that sweetness inside of her, And so, anyway, so as she's scooting into the front seat, she's got like a couple of sodas in her hand and she in her purse, and she's trying to scoot in. And Brian, he's got the video on and talking to me, and he's like, "Say hi," and kind of puts the phone in her face, and she wasn't expecting that, and so she kind of was like, "Whatever," and he's like, "Say hi. This is my girlfriend." Blah 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 blah. And then she's like, "Hi," whatever. And then she's really sweet, and she's like, "Oh, I can't wait to meet you." And, I think she even said, "I love you" with it, it was very cute. And then the guy scoots in with her. And then, we talk for like a second, and then Brian's like, "Okay, well, we gotta go." And so then maybe an hour or so later, he calls me back, like calls me on the phone. And he's like, "Oh, hey, well, here's the deal. Those are my friends, and I had to pick them up because she was getting beat up by her boyfriend." Now, I'm thinking, a boyfriend? Well, who's that guy that's with her? And he's like, "Yeah, I just dropped them off at a motel." And I'm like, Wait, what? So, so here she is with this guy, and they go to a motel room, but she'd been getting beat up by her boyfriend. Now, don't get me wrong, nobody deserves to get beat up, but I'm just saying, was he beating her because she's with this guy? I don't know, it's weird. You know, these people, they're weird. So I never really got the story about that, and I don't even care, whatever. So, so anyway, we talked for a little bit, and of course, once again, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, you go in the middle of the night to go rescue this girl and take them somewhere, whatever. And, back then, I'm thinking that everything he does, every breath he takes is just, he's the most amazing, wonderful human being that's ever walked the face of the earth, and I love you, and you're awesome. So anyway, so then... that was probably, okay, so around 2 or 3 in the morning, he picks them up. Then another hour or so later, he calls me back saying, who they are and what they were doing. Then I go to sleep, and then I wake up about 8 o'clock in the morning. Now, it didn't bother me because this was like on a Saturday morning, so I didn't have to work or anything. So about 8 o'clock, I wake up and I had to have my phone on silent, which I'm surprised because, I always have my phone on because I always want to hear from him. So maybe I probably accidentally put it on silent. So I wake up and there's like all these missed calls from him, like tons of them. And of course, my first thought was, oh my gosh, that's so cute. He's been calling me all this time because he loves me so much and he's my boyfriend. So I call him back and he's all panicked. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what's going on? Now you have to remember, he's an emergency boy. He's always got an emergency. Remember I told you he's always one of those people who's like, I gotta tell you something, So there's always something. Always something. We can't, walk to the bathroom without there being some sort of travesty. So he's like, okay, so after I drop them off at the motel, there's some key. Now, this is where it's weird. There's some key thing down by my foot, and I don't know what happened, but it came out. Now I can't get the car started. Now you have to remember, this is an older model car, and it wasn't a key fob or anything like that. So I don't know. Who the fuck knows? So he's telling me that, now this is before I know that he lives with his parents. So he tells me, he goes, my mom is bringing me a new key. Now, and he did not say it's a door key. He kept saying it's something down by his foot. And he can't get the car started because he's in the car. He's sitting in it, so it's not a door key. And so he's like, I'm bored, I'm sorry it's early, but do you mind talking to me? And, at the time, because I'm so fucking stupid, I'm thinking to myself that the reason he said he was bored is because I'm like, oh, that's so cute. He's not really bored. He just wants to talk to me. No, he's bored. It's 8 o'clock on a Saturday morning. I'm sure everybody he knew and was trying to get a hold of was asleep, and I'm the only dumbass that fucking will talk to him, and ruin my day or whatever. So anyway, so his mom brings him whatever he need, gets the car started, blah, 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 blah. So, it was maybe a couple weeks later. It wasn't a whole month, but maybe a couple weeks. That car gets stolen. Now listen, I'm no car thief, and I guess car thieves will take anything, but really? That car got stolen? Now, I know Brian hangs out at the crack house, so maybe he did get stolen. But, so now here's where my brain has been so tormented by this guy that now everything he does and says, I'm always in my mind playing, private investigator. And it occurred to me a while back, that, what do you mean the car got stolen? That was weird. And here's what I think. I think whatever that key mechanism thing was, I think he was fucking around with it. Now, I know tweakers, and so do you, that what they do is they constantly dismantling things. I don't know what that's about. It's so weird. But yes, maybe he was fucking around with it. I know he was fucking around with it. I mean, come on. And then just fall out. I know he's fucking around with it, and maybe it was because he's fucking crazy. But you know what I really think? I think that he gave that car away. Either he bought traded it for drugs, or owed somebody money for drugs and gave it to them. And I know it's terrible to think this way, but I can't help it. I think that he was fucking around with that thing to see if he could somehow take it out or whatever. And, I don't know enough about cars or whatever, but I think there's just some sort of feeling I have that he was on purpose fucking around with it so that he could give that car to somebody else. Now, that might be some outlandish, crazy story, and I'm just fucking out of my mind, just thinking weird shit, but it's weird. So I think Mr. Grand Theft Auto there, I think he did something on purpose. I don't think it was accidental, and I don't think that car just got randomly stolen. And then here's what's so fucked up about him. So, now, I don't know if that was his car or his mom's car, but, he was obviously living there, so he gets a new car. I mean, another beat up piece of shit, but, that's fine, whatever, it's all good. So he gets another car, and this one night, this is a while later, now, this is already after I had gone to the airport and still kept interacting with this fool. And so I already know at this point that he lives with his parents. And he calls me up one night. He's all pissed off. He's like, "Oh, my mom's borrowing my car." And I'm thinking to myself, first of all, that car, so obviously she didn't have a car now. So that car that you got stolen, you should have bought her a car. You should have bought a car and given it to her, and then you be borrowing it. Of course, I know he needs a car for work, so, whatever. But, fuck you, dude. You fucking bratty, selfish, inconsiderate fucker. And your mom is just borrowing the car. And the way you made it sound, it wasn't like she took off with it for a week. I mean, she was just needing it for like the whole day and night or wherever she was going. I mean, whatever. I'd probably out to eat or something like that. But he's pissed off that she's borrowing his new car because you got her other one stolen, you fucker. So anyway, that's what Mr. Grand Theft Auto did that time. And, man, it's just never ending. And, and I'll tell you about another car situation later, but I guess I'll end this here. But, Mr. Grand Theft Auto, better watch your shit. Is your car locked up right now? Are you sure? He'll break in. He'll take it.